one of the things is that one of the things that drives me crazy as I go across, as I walk down Flatbush, as you know, to work. I'm walking on the sidewalk and I'm thinking, why are people who are wealthier than me allowed to walk on the sidewalk?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's annoying. They can afford to walk on a better sidewalk.
They can get an Uber.
Take an Uber.
They can get an Uber. It makes me nauseous to think about it. Here is Pete Buttigieg. Now, look, this was a horrible talking point when Hillary Clinton delivered it. Some people argue that this is even worse. But the bottom line is this. The cost, if every millionaire in the country decided to send their kid to the local state, and I want to be clear on what the free college is, because I've talked to people who seem completely perplexed about it. And we had a guest at one point, I can't remember, who didn't get this. It's not every college is free. It is in every state, there will be a free state college option that is subsidized by the federal government. We have seen state college tuition rise exponentially. That puts upward pressure on all the other private institutions. If there is a quality, free, public option in every state, not only are you going to give people the opportunity to go to this college and not be racked with a tremendous amount of debt, it's going to drive the prices down. It's going to change the calculus for private universities. It just will, of course. And if you had every single millionaire's kid go to these colleges, highly unlikely, but if you did, the cost would be infinitesimally small. Maybe not even 1% of the entire budget of it. But on top of that, put that aside. Let's say it was 5%. Let's say it was 7%. Do people actually think that it's a good thing to sequester the wealthiest people in the country from everybody else? I mean, do people think that it would have been a negative if Eric Trump went to school with people whose like mom and dad had to work 2 jobs just to get them, to keep them in their house? Like in the off chance that Eric Trump would become friends with that guy, like that would be a bad thing? It's just bizarre to me. It's quite clear we can afford it. And imagine Pete Buttigieg's program. You make $100,000 a year. Your parents do. You get to go, as a kid, you get to go to college wherever you want, or I should say for free. You make $105,000, you're screwed. Now, it's inevitable you're going to get those cutoffs at certain points, but this is why you make something more universal when the expense is irrelevant. And if you're really worried about it, here's how you deal with that extra expense from these millionaire kids. You tax them more. So they're actually paying for it. Here's Pete Buttigieg deploying a right-wing talking point here.
I believe we should move to make college affordable for everybody. There are some voices saying, well, that doesn't count unless you go even further, unless it's free even for the kids of millionaires. But I only want to make promises that we can keep. Look, what I'm proposing is plenty bold. I mean, these are big ideas. We can gather the majority to drive those big ideas through without turning off half the country before we even get into office. And that, I think, is the best governing strategy, as well as what it's going to take in order to win. And Lord knows we got to win. I'm Pete Buttigieg, and I approve this.
All right, first off, I got to be clear with something. If you make $105,000 a year as a couple, you're a long way off from Millionaire Kids. If you make $110,000, $111,000, all the way up to $1 million. And just the way that he said big, bold, where they just hit that B.
Careful with all the boldness out there.
Yeah, I imagine like the children of millionaires and millionaires start supporting Bernie Sanders because they're really afraid of Buttigieg is going to give them the...
Darn it. I really wanted that free college. I mean, it's just, it's absurd. You tax them more. You're concerned that they're getting a free ride, tax them more.
This is plenty bold.
Plenty bold enough. How bold do you want things?